What's up everybody? I'm Kyle. Today I'm going to go into a little different video that maybe some of you are thinking about. We're going to talk about, are you too old to start game dev? So first off, I'm 36. I'm not that old, but I feel like I'm old enough to have had this question of like, oh, am I too old to do something? Maybe you're thinking about this, maybe you want to jump into game dev, you're wondering like, am I too old to do this? And so all of this is going to be from the perspective of me starting my game studio in my mid 30s. So I'm going to break this down as pros and cons. Pro, if you're older, you've had way more time to develop skills than when you're younger. So that can help you a whole lot going in as a game dev. You could have had time to build up your art skills, you could build up your 3D model skills, you could build up your programming skills, audio skills, business skills. I definitely think that starting a game studio, especially in your 30s, is an advantage that you possibly have over people that might be doing it younger. I started with something good, I've got to follow it with something bad. This is a con. Later in life, you're going to have more bills and more distractions to take you away from your studio. Those distractions can be anything from some life event, you have to travel for something because of an emergency, maybe you have kids who can, as I hear, be very distracting, and a whole host of other things that you just don't have to deal with when you're younger. Something to keep in mind about how much time is going to be available to you when you're going into the whole journey. Another possible con, you may have got used to a higher budget than in your early 20s. That can be really hard to crack down on. Can definitely be difficult to go back to the same budget you had as an undergrad or the same budget you had just out of high school when you're later in life, because you've kind of gotten used to those comforts. The good news is it's actually not that hard. Once you get over it, it's really not a big deal. So I don't really think that's going to be much of an issue for you. So next one coming up, this depends a lot on you and how much you've dealt with social media. It could be a pro or a con. One thing that might be really difficult for you is if you go into a market that is heavily meme driven. You may not know the current memes, especially when it comes to marketing. If you're trying to social market on TikTok, I am clueless on TikTok. I've made a few of them, but I really don't get it. One of these days, maybe I'll understand TikTok. So that's something to keep in mind, especially if you're looking for new social platforms. That might be a little tough. Really, you can just learn a lot from consuming that content. Last thing I want to talk about, this one I think is a definite pro. Being new at something is actually really awesome. The learning curve when you're new at something is just so fast. So you learn new things, you see improvement day over day. That really helps your motivation. When I started game dev, I couldn't draw at all. Maybe I'll show you one of my wonderful pieces of artwork around here. And now I'm like moderately better. So I can do some basic sketching. And that whole experience of learning to draw was great. There's very few things that after you've been doing them for a long time that you don't hit the wall, and the wall can be a serious slog. So you can spend a year, 2 years, 3 years trying to get better, and you only get that much better. As opposed to when you start in the beginning, you're starting from zero, you're already really bad, so you see progress like crazy. Especially when you're at a low point working on your game, having something to bring you back up, having something to see some positive traction can help your morale and can help you get back into it so you can finish your game. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you think this is useful, please give me a like and a subscribe. One of these days I'll point in the right place for these buttons, but for now I have no clue where they are. I'll see you next time. Bye.